Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
But
But the thing with like the flag and all that, and I just want to watch my game, and I don't come in for. You know what? That's the reason why. Like, for example,
we're talking football, listeners. This is the only time you'll ever hear the sports ball.
That's why I personally
on Good Morning Aurora
don't really feel like it's even a like. I'll tell you a story real quick.
Okay. We're digging in.
The company I used to work for, back in corporate America days, I worked for a company. They used to take us to sports games. It took us to a baseball game. This is right when the whole Colin Kaepernick thing happened and all that. Yeah. Okay. Right when it was a thing.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, we're having our beers, we're chopping it up, and before the game, then they do the national anthem. Mm-hmm. Now, you know me, I'm SJW to the bone.
Sure.
And I understand why, what the significance of the flag protest is and all that. So I am a supporter of it.
Sure.
So it's time for the national anthem. I had a hat on too. Time for national anthem. And oh shit. So I take my hat off,
stand up, and the whatnot.
Did the whole national anthem.
You're
put the
right.
hand over the heart thing.
You're right on that border between you see both worlds. Right?
So I do the whole thing, right?
Okay.
And as I'm standing there, I realize oh wait a minute. This is heightened social justice time and all this, and
am I supposed to be sitting right now? I understand where I sit.
It never crossed my mind to not stand for the national anthem. The thought never entered my mind, and more so when I was standing there with my hand over my heart and the whole thing's going on, and I thought about it. I realized that for a person like me, it would be. I would have to actually flip on the switch of in a way trolling almost and then stop. You know what I'm saying?
Intentionally turning off.
I would have to intentionally turn off what I do.
The standing patriotism flag stuff in order to do the fighting for the actual value ideals of the thing that we're supposed to be standing up for.
So because I don't watch sports at all and I don't like sports at all, that never affects me because I don't watch any games. So they could be eating pink lemonade ice cream cones and stepping on those.
Competitively.
It doesn't matter. I don't watch sports, so I'm completely removed from that argument.
Okay.
But
do you want to start the podcast now?
We already did, but I do not. But I do not. I do not have it in me to not support something if I'm already supporting it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
If I'm already swimming in that pool.
Yeah, so you don't switch lanes.
I'm not a lane switcher.
Go up.
I'm not a lane switcher.
You're not.
I'm not a lane switcher.
Okay.
Not a lane switcher. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora.
Good morning, Aurora.
Yeah, the time is now 8:04. Oh, snap.
Oh, man. We did 4 whole minutes before actually welcoming the people to the podcast.
Well, they knew they was welcome.
We had a week off. I'm jumping back in. We're going to be back in this groove in a minute, guys.
Alyssa Ocone, good morning. Back from the Smoky Mountains. Word up. Word up. Hashtag solid. Yeah, that's the new-ish. I like that.
That's right. Okay.
And the Sierra Victoria Halamanado. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So we're back with Jenetteplaining.
Word up. Word up. We are here.
I was away in St. Louis. I was at a conference. That part was really boring. But let me tell you about the coolest thing I found in St. Louis.
What's that?
Which was not the Arch. The Arch is fine. It's neat. I didn't go up. I'm terrified of rides. Mm-hmm. But the just to the south of the Arch, there's all the levees along the Mississippi River that keep the river from flooding the city. And the they have this thing in St. Louis called Paint Louis every year, where they all they get together graffiti and mural artists and like hip hop, they're like spinning and stuff over Labor Day weekend, and it's like this big festival where they just like paint the levees, and it's so cool. And I mean, so like my suspicion is that this started as like we're just gonna get together and put pop graffiti up there, and then eventually it kind of took on this life of its own, and eventually the city had to like acknowledge that it was a real thing, which is my favorite when those sorts of things happen, when it's like just a thing that the community already does, and eventually the government has to be like, oh yeah, I guess you can do that.
Oh, it is cool.
Yeah, right. But so, which was a thing for murals, including in this city for so long, was we don't know, I don't know if it's okay for people to put paint on the walls. And now if you go to St. Louis and see these levees, if you're in the downtown tourist area, on the kiosks or whatever, they'll tell you there's a mural mile. But let me tell you, it goes on for several miles because I made it my running route that morning. So, and I'm pretty sure I saw the tag for a local Aurora artist. So I think Fisk, if you were out there, good job. I saw that. That was awesome.
Word up.
Because they did it over the Labor Day weekend, so that had just happened. So all the paint was fresh. It looked really cool. So
nice.
If you follow me on the Instagram, you can see some of the cool stuff that got put up at Paint Louis.
Word up. Word up. Voices. That's what it is, y'all. Voices. So here's the thing. It's 8:08. It's Friday. We're all together now. Before we go any further, I have to say that we love all of you.
We do.
We do.
Aww. Heartwarming.
All right, so here's the bad news now. The last Sears store in Illinois is closing. Yes.
Where will we all go buy our things? What's the last thing I bought from a Sears? You know, the appliances are pretty good. I remember you lost the story. Oh no!
We got real paper nowadays, y'all. So we got real news, so we gotta look for it.
All right, so
yeah, here we go.
We got it. All right, so Sears is closing.
Yes, the last store, which is in Woodfield Mall, will close before the holidays on November 14th. So they're going out with a bad bang.
Yeah, not even making it to the Christmas shopping season.
Sad. So because I would have done it we're going to have one more Christmas, and then it's a wrap.
So if you need to stock up on any clearance Christmas items, some slippers for your grandma, I'm sure she might still be the one person who still shops at Sears.
They better have a good going away sale.
Right? Yeah.
Everything $1. Oh, snap.
The crafts, I will say, all my tools, I have a bunch of Craftsman's tools, and I think those are all Sears. But did you ever the catalog did you ever were you the kid like me who poured over the Sears catalog? When it
yes,
came,
I was. Yes.
That gigantic thing that was the quintessential. Remember how at some point in the 2000s, in the aughts, there was suddenly this war on Christmas, and Christmas had become so commercialized, and yet back in that's
because the president was black at that time.
Right.
That was the story.
Because I'm pretty sure I remember back in 1991, just sitting there with this giant book of Mom, buy me all of these things that of course were never going to get bought for Christmas. Right? Just hundreds of pages of stuff.
Jennifer Ryan Mayton, good morning to you. All right, so listen to this, and then we've got a whole lot of stuff to tell you about. Listen, Transform Co., which was created when Sears' former CEO Edward Lampert and his hedge fund bought the company out of bankruptcy in 2019, has not finalized plans for redevelopment, but is set in active negotiations with the best cash retailers. Now listen, there were 687 Sears and Kmart stores, down from Yes, 1,672 in January 2016. Hundreds more have closed since. The company, Transformco, went into the 2019 holiday season with 278 Sears and Kmart stores, but planned to close 96 by February 2020. And its Chicago Ridge Mall store closed this year. Transformco said its plans for Sears and Kmart call for keeping a small number of larger premium stores open alongside a large number of small format stores. What in the world? The company also says it plans to expand hometown stores and home and life stores in cities and towns that used to have larger stores. It's the end of an era.
So I have a few thoughts on this.
And in fact, I'm gonna.
No, we're crinkling the paper. No, no. So I have a few thoughts. One is, if you have to rename your company Transformco, you're already fighting a losing battle.
Right. That's the least sexiest name for a company ever.
And it really speaks to we've messed up here. We better do something.
Transformco, right?
Transformco.
Yeah. Who is...
But there's this broader trend in retail, right? Like, retail is dying, your traditional brick and mortar, and I feel like it's going two ways. There are only two ways that you can survive in the retail landscape these days. One is being like a really cool, super hip boutique place that the community wants to support because your dog is in your shop.
Cotton Seed Creative Exchange.
That's right. And the other one is like Target. right? Like so big, it's got everything. I don't have to go anywhere else.
But see, you know what? I'm kind of glad at them for stepping their game up, putting a restaurant, or not restaurant, but like food. They had to.
Let me tell you about the Target that you're missing out on, because we live in Aurora where there is no Target, and the closest ones are like the Naperville and the North Aurora and the Oswego ones. They're all, if you notice, they're all on the borders. None are actually in Aurora, which means we don't harness any Aurora sales tax or any sales tax in Aurora for your Target purchases, which is unfortunate. But the Target in Wheaton, is it Wheaton? Yeah, like the one right across from like the big theater out there, like the Classic Cinemas. Man, that one is a good Target. They get all like it's the fanciest. It feels like they made the little drawers in the ladies' underoos section look like in a Victoria's Secret where you pull out the drawers. It's all fancy, like, and they have like the who what where. Like, if you are looking to go shopping to get all of like the Target crossed with the famous designer stuff, it's all at that Target. You're welcome. You can use that,
facts.
Listeners, if you want to class it up. Like, but you're like me, you're like not going to spend like a lot of money. Yeah, you go to that. You go to that Target. You go to a nice Target. And
that's where if you go early, get your Christmas shopping done. The kids and the toys, they got all the good stuff.
But again, we're saying Sears, right? You're gonna tell it up to Woodbridge.
Goodbye Sears. It's over for Sears.
So can we officially call it the Nakatomi Tower now?
Sears never had a tower.
Sears never had a tower? The Sears Tower. You are not familiar with the Sears Tower. But so then it got built.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, because then it became Willis Tower. Right now it's Willis Tower, and so then naturally my friends started calling it Bruce Willis Tower, and so now it's just Nakatomi Plaza.
You know what?
Because
I don't want to say
Die Hard is the greatest film series that was ever created.
Die Hard was good. So where are we at with the news?
I don't know.
What's our first topic today?
Is it wishing all of our Latinx listeners a happy Hispanic heritage, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, Chicano Heritage Month.
That's a word up. That's a word up.
However you identify, if you consider yourself a part of, if you check the awkward Hispanic, not Hispanic box on the census, which for some reason is a whole other thing and not just in the race box and making everything really complicated, we wish you a happy Heritage Month.
Right.
Which started, if you caught Buenos Dias, Aurora.
Right. Come on, we gave y'all the facts.
It was all there.
Come on.
But if it was all in Spanish.
Y'all never heard nothing like that.
But for those of us who maybe weren't tuning into the Spanish because they're, because
you don't understand.
Porque no comprende. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. That was all the honking you heard last night. It kicks off it's September 15th to October 15th, and the first big holiday of that is Mexican Independence Day.
So the link to the that and Abazando events is in the chat, you guys.
So check it. Yeah. So
excuse me.
We got a whole month of events. Mexican Independence Day was last night, which is not Cinco de Mayo, right? Everyone thinks Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day. This is incorrect. Cinco de Mayo was like there. It marks some battle, and now Corona sells a lot of beer that day. But it's actually it was yesterday was the day that Father Hidalgo shouted the El Grito and declared independence from Spain. So there you go.
Word up.
But the city of Aurora has all kinds of events, like tons and tons and tons of events happening this month. So they did, Alderman Garza did her annual Pioneers Breakfast, and they also did the flag raising and all of that. If you didn't catch that, that's on. You can watch it on the city's Facebook page, but they've got lots and lots of stuff coming up the rest of the season. Lots of community conversations with Latinx leaders and stuff you can check out, street dedication ceremonies, and the Parade of Nations, which will be on the October 1st.
So these initiatives and everything that Jenette has just explained, the link is in the chat for you guys to check that out. Please come on out and support our Latinx community. The time is now 8:17 a.m.
It's a hard word to pronounce.
Hold up. Dora says, that's right, Dora, independence from the French.
From the French. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of independent, there were some movements.
Now, I know what you guys, some of you may be thinking. Wow, France got all the way down to Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
they did.
We kind of forget that there were a bunch of there was the Spanish were there, the French were there, Texas at one point was just like, what if we're just a country, like everything. Yeah, the borders really moved around a lot in El Norte.
The French have been all around the world and
it's true.
In many cases have suffered crushing defeats by the peoples there until they took over Egypt, which was very strange. Okay, listen to this, you guys. Well, first of all,
from time to time.
Nakatomi, Grace Cornell. Your name is Grace Cornell. Here's the thing, Grace. Grace Cornell sent us
Grace has thoughts
dry
on
erase markers. And Grace, I want to say thank you so much for those markers. First of all, it was really good to get mail. Second of all, to see that those markers, and I wrote a little piece about it on our Facebook page and little dedication to you, Grace. Thank you very much, Grace Cornell, for those markers. That's what's up.
Now we need a whiteboard.
Elvis sang it best. What's that, Dan? Oh, Viva Aurora. Good morning. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. That's what it is. Maria Torito's here. The chat is on fire today. Oh, my God.
That's right. The people, they missed Jenetteplaining last week.
Word. Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was splaining, and that's how I got markers.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God. Something came out of that. Shit. Okay. There is a...
what else we got?
Fox River cleanup that you need to know about. This Saturday coming up, guys.
Let's talk about that.
The Fox River cleanup will be held at 2 locations this year by the Friends of the Fox River. This is the 3rd annual It's Our Fox River Day. Events from 9 a.m. to noon at Glenwood Park Forest Preserve and 1644 South River Street, Batavia, and John Doerr Forest Preserve, 35 West 003, Route 31 in South Elgin. Help us protect and clean the Fox River by browsing environmental education exhibits and more. We'll preserve the Fox River by cleaning up the river banks, and trails.
Yeah.
Word up.
So, it's supposed to be pretty nice out before it gets really stupid hot again this weekend. So, pop on out there. I think it's supposed to get stupid hot again this weekend. I gotta tell you, my little temperature gate thingy on my Google Maps, it's always off.
Right.
If anyone has a really good plug-in for that, let me know. But yeah, so Friends of the Fox River is a great organization. They advocate on behalf of the river and its health, and they run these cleanup days, but they do lots of other programs around the community too, to kind of let people know what they can do better to help preserve our river watershed, which is very precious and probably the coolest thing we've got going on around here. So check them out.
Tracy Duran is here. Good morning, Tracy. What is up with you, dear friend? The time is 8:20 a.m.
What else we got?
Okay. Did you know, and I don't know if you do or if you did, but one of the most prominent festivals in the Hindu tradition concluded after a multi-day celebration in Aurora.
Yes. It was Lord Ganesh's birthday.
Word up.
Right. So in the pantheon of so this is the theme I think of today is definitely all of the cool cultural stuff we've got going on in Aurora, because this is like the month of that. What? Give me a look.
No,
themes
I was
themes are great.
No, I was reading the story.
Yeah. So in the Hindu sort of pantheon, right? There's thousands of gods, like in Hinduism, right? But Ganesh is one of the more prominent ones. You'll see him depicted as having the elephant head. Your turn.
Okay. A priest from the Balaji Hindu temple in Aurora offers prayer to Lord Ganesh, joined by Alderwoman Shweta Bade and her husband Virkam during the Ganesh Chaturthi festival in Aurora. Thousands of Indian Americans from Aurora and throughout the western Chicago suburbs gathered in an open-air tent in the second largest city in Illinois, to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, which honors the birthday of Lord Ganesh, son of Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati, and his prominence as the remover of obstacles.
So there you go.
If you need number. And the Lord of New Beginnings. You got a card, bro?
You do need that number today.
The remover of obstacles.
The remover of obstacles.
So basically, beginning Friday, September 10th, the festival provided an opportunity for fellowship and gathering of families and friends to eat and dance. The Aurora celebration featured many youth performances and a proclamation issued by Mayor Irvin honoring the holiday in Aurora, the first of any suburb to do so. Devotees continue to celebrate the festival at home for a full 10 ends, ending Tuesday, September 21st.
Yeah, so if you are not clued into the things happening at the temple there, the big one, right? Mm-hmm. They have a lot of programs that are open to the public usually, so you can kind of like check them out.
Good place. Yeah. All right. So I got some local stuff I want to tell you guys about. Let me get this local stuff out, and then we're going to move on to incentives for downtown Aurora renovation projects. I know that sounds... Ooh.
No, we love a good incentive story.
We need a ooh button.
We do need a new button.
We need a ooh button. This will suffice.
How do I know?
Okay. Oh, and we also
Wait, do you mean to tell me...
Oh, damn. What's up?
You mean to tell me that that's not live? That Mayor Irvin's not just sitting here in the studio with us?
No, Mayor Irvin tuned in. He's right over there. All right.
We enjoy the buttons. They're fun.
All right, check this out. Thursday, September 20th at the Kane County Sheriff's Office in St. Charles will be the forklift driver certification class. This event's $25 a person. Will be held from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and your $25 fee covers lunch. OSH currently provides forklift driver and OSHA 10 training at the Kane County Jail. The card certification is good for 3 years. For more information or questions, call Mr. Joseph Garcia at 630-329-6668. That number again is 630-329-6668. The 5th annual. Oh, God. All right, sip it up.
We're sipping.
Sip it up.
Clink. We really, you don't get a really satisfying clinking noise out of the cups.
There's nothing.
Maybe we need mugs.
Yeah.
Where would we find really fancy, awesome Good Morning Aurora mugs?
Treadwell. Right when you walk in, to your left, you can see that. Join the mug club.
See, because we've got we're preaching, but we're not following. We've got the paper cups right here, but they don't make the good clink noise. So.
They do not make a clink. They make a... It's It's a mild thunk.
That's the noise. It's not fun.
Okay, the 5th annual Cups Broad Drive. Happening this year at Aurora Regional Fire Museum from 5 to 8 p.m. on October 1st. Music, local vendors, and a photo booth. Hey, this will be a great community event. Support a great cause in downtown Aurora. And the Aurora Noon Lions Club will hold a pork chop dinner fundraiser Wednesday, September 22nd. The event will be from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Luigi's Pizza and Fun Center, located at 732 Prairie Street in Aurora. Proceeds benefit Aurora-based cities and schools, a nonprofit that helps students succeed in school and life, formerly called Communities in Schools. Yeah, diners may choose from 2 pork chops with baked beans, coleslaw, applesauce, roll, and butter, and a cookie, or a chicken dinner with sides. Shouts out.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
So, let's talk about incentives for renovation projects.
Let's talk about incentives for renovation projects. We're giving more incentives for some renovation projects. I'm pulling up the article right now, so I have things to reference. So these are the two. So City Council met on Tuesday. And on the agenda, it was actually there was like a lot of stuff on there, so we'll probably have more stuff come out about it later. But one of the things that they approved were additional incentives for both the Keystone Building, and the Keystone Building is that one on Stolp Avenue. That has there's the glass artist in there on the first floor, and there's a hair salon. It's one right across from Millennium Plaza. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that big tan one.
Yeah, the big tan one that's got a bunch of real weird offices and stuff upstairs.
Right.
And and If These Walls Could Talk is in that building.
That's right. On the bottom floor.
On the bottom floor, yeah. So that building, and then we're also talking about the Terminal Building, which is the one at the corner of Galena and Broadway. So that one, if you can picture it, it's like apartment building. It's apartments up top, and the first floor was a restaurant a million years ago. It looks like it was an old timey diner sort of thing. But
right
now it looks like nothing because they're renovating it. So the Keystone Building, the one on Stolp, is going to be 33 apartments and 6 retail spaces, which is kind of a great transformation for that space, I think, because what we need is more housing in downtown Aurora. And it turns out what we don't need a lot of is office space, because as it turns out, people just work from their homes now.
Right.
So good transformation on that building. And then the Terminal Building is going to be 20 loft apartments upstairs. And according to the reporting from the Beacon News, and then the restaurant down on the first floor, they might actually make it operable so that a restaurant will move in. According to the Beacon News, those apartments upstairs, they haven't been occupied for 70 years.
Yeah.
70 years. So, which is many years, which sounds right in my experience. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody up there, but I can't speak to 70 years since I haven't been alive that long.
So we got the story. So here's some of the details and some of the information about the company involved as
Urban
well.
Equity. Yeah.
Yep. So as mentioned, Alderman approved amendments to the redevelopment agreements for urban equity properties of Rockford. They're redeveloping the Keystone Building and Terminal. Officials with both the city and developers said the projects encountered higher costs related to the coronavirus pandemic during the past year and a half. Mayor Irvin said because Urban Equity wanted to stay in Aurora, finish the projects and continue operating them, it indicates that the city and company have a successful relationship. Quote, the relationship is important to Urban Equity and definitely important to the city of Aurora. Now, here's where it gets fun. And I want you all to pay attention very closely. The Keystone was a working building, but underutilized. That building was soon to have 33 occupied apartments and 6 rental units on the first floor. Justin Fern, founding principal of Urban Equity Properties, said the relationship between the company and the city is, quote, such that we're hoping to move on our third project here in a year. They acquired Keystone and Terminal, which are both in the National Register of Historic Places, in 2018. And in 2019, they struck the agreements that included equity from the company with incentives from the city. They spent only $1 to purchase the Terminal Building from the city, but Keystone was privately owned, and they spent $1.3 million to buy it.
Ouch. Yeah, so Urban Equity Partners is coming in and they purchased these two, and so in order to get them developed, though, they've gotten a number of incentives already from the city. What they voted on at the last meeting was additional incentives. So, and it tops off between the two buildings. It's something like an extra $875,000 going back to them in terms in like cash subsidies, but more in like, we're just not going to charge you interest on the loans that we've given you. So, which kind of helps push them to the finish line. The other thing about these incentive programs is part of what's driving up the cost in these is, and this has been seen in construction trades across the country, is all of the costs are going up because basically factories shut down at the start of the pandemic, and so everything stopped being manufactured, and so it drove up costs. And then at the same time, all the shipping broke down, so now you just can't get anything on time,
right,
which screws up your whole schedule. And then things like the cost of wood skyrocketed, so like if you need wood to like frame things, like
right,
that's now like 3 times the cost that it was before. Like, so just everything, it's just this conglomeration of like weird issues that have caused everything to be more expensive. At the same time, these projects were getting river something redevelopment dollars, right? So it's a state program that also provides incentives for cities like ours that are on a riverfront and trying to redevelop their kind of old Rust Belt legacies of their downtowns. And so they got these dollars, but all of those state incentives have deadlines. So they couldn't just be like, well, we're just going to mothball this project for 6 months and work on it again when things get cheaper. They had to keep going, right, or they wouldn't be able to finish the projects. So,
and lastly, because numbers are important, I just want to give you guys one more piece of information here. So in the Keystone building, this is very interesting here. In the Keystone building, the city's putting in about $375,000 more than planned, but Urban Equity is kicking in $2.3 million more in equity, according to Martin Lyons. Mm-hmm. At the Terminal building, Urban Equity is putting in $1.2 million more in equity, and deferring its general contractor fee of $612,702. The city is kicking in about $500,000 more in incentives, forgiving about $200,000 in interest.
Yeah,
Time is 8:33 a.m.
What I couldn't find in any of the documents from the city was how much we gave them the first time around, which
word.
I know that
super word.
I know that those like dollar figures are out there in the world, and probably with a Google search you would find it, but it wasn't in, like, there was no memo in like the city's agenda that was like, hey, here's the background on this. So like, I have no idea. At some point we gave them money and now we're giving them more money, but we're getting apartments and restaurant space and whatever out of it, so probably it'll be good. Question mark?
Probably. Hold on a second. No,
probably.
Like, well, it better be good.
It's going to be.
Right? Probably nothing. That shit better be.
It is a good thing. It is absolutely a good thing to redevelop these buildings and bring in make the restaurant useful and like add more housing into our downtown, which we desperately need, and all of these things. That is all. I forget words this week, but like good. It's like that's great.
Oh, you was gonna use a word stronger than good.
I was gonna use a word that was like modifying good, but I have had a really my brain has been not working well this week, and so I keep dropping words. But sometimes these things happen, people. But. The concern, and this has been a concern that critics of the current administration have had going on, is kind of like, boy, we've been giving an awful lot of incentives and money to all of these development projects. How much is it costing us? And I don't know that we have like the full tabulation of like how like what our incentive, our outlay in incentives has like. It would be interesting to see the full picture. Right. And we've talked about this before on the show, because I think that there's something valid to you have to take gambles, right? Like you have, like, in order for us to like redevelop the city, like you're gonna have to just infuse cash in it, right? That's
infusing cash and taking gambles
are
two different things. I think anybody could think that, like, yes, it's going to take money and investment from the city to get things popping. But we don't want to take.
But whenever you're investing, you're gambling. Like that is the biggest.
Do the residents of Aurora want the city to take gambles with their finances?
Well, look, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, anytime you're investing in anything, there's risk, right? That's when you as an individual person go to your retirement investment guy, like the first thing you talk about is how much risk can you tolerate, right?
That's a fact.
If I put money into my 401k or my 403b or whatever it is, because I work in the public sector, it goes into investments, and I'm just putting money in there and like praying that the stock market doesn't crash tomorrow, right? So same thing with redeveloping properties. Now, redeveloping properties is usually a pretty good gamble because the housing market is so tight right now, and like, you know, property values tend to go up, home values tend to go up over the years. It's just that's been the trend for the history of most of America, right? But there's always still a gamble. Like when you give massive incentives to just like a restaurant, that's probably a much bigger gamble than these kind of mixed use developments where you've got apartments and retail and restaurants and things like that, right?
Speaking of which, that reminds me.
Yeah.
Is Stope Island going to open up anytime?
That is a dang good question, isn't it?
Is that because they got the PPP?
They got all the things.
Yeah, they got right.
And Kinky Boots is open right now because that was, you know, like it was definitely.
I mean, I'm asking for a friend.
We've got this restaurant that was really sort of like, we have the Paramount. The Paramount brings all these people in. The people need places to eat. We're going to put a restaurant here that's really nice so that the people have a place to eat, and it'll be a nice kind of
boom, 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 right down the street.
Yeah, what's the word? Or like
synonymity,
close
symbiosis.
Yes, thank you. There it is. That was good. That was the thought. So now we have now we're out of all of the capacity restrictions, and now we have a Paramount, and boy, it would be really great if that place would open again. I haven't been there.
We was asking for a friend. That's all it was.
As a vegetarian, I never really stopped by because it's a steak heavy sort of place, but I'm sure it was great. I heard good things.
Okay, now look, we were going to ask these people something. Here's the thing. Listeners, we need your help. What are in baseball? What are balls and strikes? What's the difference between balls and strikes? We need help. We were supposed to ask them. Remember that? We remember that. Yeah.
So you may have noticed, kind listeners, that the Great American Morning Show does not cover one particular area of the news.
Can't get sports on here. We don't know what's going on.
The sports are never. Let me tell you, whenever I have a trivia team, we always have to find the sports person.
Yeah.
Because that's not me.
Right.
Do you want really esoteric knowledge about what, like, that you were supposed to have learned in elementary school about the Pythagorean theorem or whatever, high school? That's me. I don't know the difference between a ball and a strike.
Yeah, I can tell you everything about Napoleon leaving Egypt in shame. I don't know anything about the Cubs or this. I don't know who played what. I don't know who got drafted.
Do they draft in baseball? I think they trade in baseball.
Let us know if they draft in baseball. But seriously, guys, in the chat, let us know. What's the difference between a ball and a strike in baseball? Before the show started, Jenette and I were talking about it. We don't know what the hell's going on.
We were trying to figure it out. So, yeah. If anyone's got that knowledge to drop.
Facts.
I don't know that we need to know it, like, to really enhance it. But maybe someday I'll go to a baseball game.
It would suck to be right on the winning cusp on like Jeopardy or some shit. And
it
it's
just
like,
feels,
and now to win $18 million. Right. Who was the leading coach in the 1976 series of the Indianapolis Colts? Like, oh,
it just feels like a gap in our knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk?
Yeah. Right. Tony Hawk. Nobody knows what Tony Hawk looks like. His whole Twitter thing is like just people not recognizing him as Tony Hawk.
Hold on. Sally Bice and Marissa Amoni. Marissa says a ball is when it's out of the strike zone. And Sally Bice says a strike is a pitch that could have been hit by the batter but was missed. Okay. Oh!
Is the strike zone is
the greatest listeners ever.
They are. The strike zone is the area like around like where... Okay. We'll leave it at that.
I didn't know either, so I was like, hopefully this girl gonna explain it. I don't know.
I think if I remember this from my embarrassing days as a youth when they made us do sports in school,
Norma says we can go to a Kane County Cougars game and get taught. Ooh.
All right, okay, there you go. Like that's right, because you hit it, but if you hit it when you're not supposed to hit it, that's a strike. But if you don't, okay. There's like the space, and if it's outside the space, you don't have to hit it. We just all agree that it doesn't work.
I think that's a foul ball.
No, I think that's the ball.
Oh, okay.
And the foul is when you hit it, but it goes way out in...
See, all I know about balls and strikes, is like using that as like a metaphor. Like, hey, I'm just calling... What about the news, Curtis? Hey, we just call balls and strikes.
But that's the thing. What if we're getting our metaphors all messed up? What if we don't understand what's happening on Capitol Hill because people are talking in baseball metaphor and we're just like, good. So did they pass
that makes
the
it
bill?
That makes it easier to understand, I think.
Yeah, I think I feel like I need this background. You know what sport? I do know all the terms for. Bowling. Yeah.
Bowling is a fun sport.
Bowling's
pretty fun.
I don't know that it counts as a sport, but as a Polish American youth, I was forced to be on a bowling league as a child.
Nice.
It's like a thing we all have to do.
So
I think they're
my nationality. It's roller skating.
Roller skating?
Mm-hmm.
I do roller skating.
Oh my God, girl, don't. Anyway, back to what the heck we're talking about here. All right, so we got some.
What were we talking about?
Well, first things first, we do have some. And,
breaking news?
Yeah. Thank God we got that thing about the ball and striking.
That's good. We got that straightened out. Okay.
So our dear friend of the show here told us that on the 29th, French 57?
Nope. French 57 is society. French.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? I want to say 13. It's another number.
Hopeland Ashworth and Braden Smith
French 20.
are opening their new endeavor, French 75
Gallery
and Lounge.
We've got some numbers floating around downtown now.
Opening night is September 29th.
Okay.
Word up.
All right.
Yeah.
That's exciting. There will be more places to imbibe cocktails.
We got some class coming to downtown Aurora, y'all.
Well, and what? You know, Wickwood House, they're expanding their space. I think they're doing some fancy stuff.
They're going to River
Street.
They're
going to River Street. So, you guys, it might be happening.
All right.
Downtown Aurora might be a thing now.
Check out Aurora Downtown Stories this morning to see a sneak peek of the renovated Keystone building. That's word up. Victoria Gonzalez is here. Good morning to you, Victoria Gonzalez. Thank you very much for tuning in, dear friend. Okay, our friends...
Wait, is that my Victoria Gonzalez that I went to high school with?
I hope so.
Just pop in the chat there if we graduated around, sure.
Oh, and fans will say good eye to the batter if they don't swing when it's out of the strike zone. It's considered a ball. Good. We got baseball history and knowledge too.
We've got it. We're done.
Now our friends.
We now know sports.
Right. That's enough. Right.
And
seriously.
We will not cover it again for another year. That's
unless I lose another bet. You're not going to hear nothing about sports. I had to read. I had to read the sports that one time. That was painful.
Or if the Bears decide they're going to bug out from Chicago to Aurora, I don't know where.
The Bears. There. The Bears have caused some consternation.
They were talking about moving. It's probably just like
Soldier Field. Yeah, leave it Soldier Field.
Yeah, they were going to go to Arlington because the racetrack is closing.
Word up.
So I don't know things about sports, but I do know things about economic development and who's moving where.
All right. So our friends of Yom Kippur.
Oh, yes. So
not our friends of Yom Kippur, but Yom Kippur.
Well, our Jewish friends,
yeah.
Keeping with our multiculturalism theme today, we just wanted to say a greeting to all of our Jewish friends. It's Chamar Chatima Tova, I think, for this holiday, which just means may you be written in the book of life. So like Yom Kippur was this week. It was just last night, Wednesday night to Thursday morning, and it's the Jewish calendar starts with the Rosh Hashanah, the New Year, and then they have this Day of Atonement, which is Yom Kippur, and it's atoning for your sins, and it's just a nice day of reflection. So they kind of start out the year in the Jewish calendar with let's reflect on things and try to be a better person, which I kind of like. So shout out to our Jewish friends. The early beginning of the year for them is now, and it goes until Sukkot in a couple weeks.
There's a great article in USA Today about it.
So you can catch up on your Yom Kippur knowledge.
I'm going to put that in the chat for you guys to check out. All right. I saw that over there. Where the heck is it? So it's Stope Island Center. That's across from the Paramount, and that's where they raised the flag. That's where they raised the flag yesterday
for Hispanic / Latino, Latinx, Chicano Heritage Month. Yep.
Had a great event out there and everything. As I'm watching though, I'm thinking to myself,
we're appreciating the hats. Everyone had some really amazing sombreros.
Shout out. I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself, that's a really underused space.
Stope Island.
Not the center itself, because they have banquets and weddings inside of there. Yeah.
Yes.
But that front.
Yeah.
Holy cow. It's pretty as hell when you're watching a ceremony or something.
Well,
it's all water. It's got shooting fountains in the bridge.
Because I think it was originally designed to be a municipal building and then wasn't a municipal building. And this is sort of in the realm of downtown Aurora historical lore. But my understanding is that they built it and then we just never took ownership of it as an actual space, because they're redeveloping the city, because they're redeveloping they're reopening the Copley Theater in there right now. And if you note, it kind of looks like a city council chambers. I think it was supposed to be a city council chambers at some point, but I may be making that up. So I'm going to turn to our lovely audience, our folks who maybe have a better downtown Aurora history than I do and lived through it, to kind of fill us in.
All right.
That.
Now, not only that.
But yeah, it's a cool space there.
All right. Sure. Quick, local, important thing that came across the desk. Now I can really say came across the desk. It's true. Yeah. It comes across the desk now. The desk is not the inbox no more.
Yours does. Mine is still inbox.
Yes. We got the old and the new.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
Our friends of Family Focus, understand your Social Security benefits. They have an English workshop Wednesday the 29th from 5 to 6 p.m. There's a Spanish workshop Wednesday the 28th. Or excuse me, it says just in Spanish. It's in Spanish. I'm reading it wrong. From 5 to 6 p.m. So they got both on the same day, basically. Come and join. You can learn, when are you eligible to receive retirement benefits? How does early retirement affect your benefits? Do you qualify for disability, survivors, or spouse benefits? How do you get the most from your benefits? And when should you file for Medicare? Very interesting and cool. All right, couple of jobs.
That is very useful.
Yeah,
because people don't realize you can actually look all that stuff up now online. You can just no matter what your age, you can see is Social Security actually? Yeah. It won't tell you if Social Security will actually be there when you retire, but in theory, if it is, here's what you would get.
Right. So. Here's some job news. So Loaves and Fishes is hiring. Food logistics manager. It's a full-time salaried position, first of all. And then they have a full-time Loaves and Fishes community services bilingual program coordinator position. That's a full-time hourly position. If you are interested, you can give a call to Loaves and Fishes, 630-355-3663. Or where's Homeboy's number at? Oh, or you can submit your resume and cover letter to azedikeer at Loaves attackfishes.org. And attack is a Navy term for a dash. Last job that we got, the Office of State Representative Barbara
Herndon. Just making up not like dashes.
No, that ain't made up.
No. Well, I mean, they're not, but like,
they don't know that.
But like, it's like, what, it's like when you've got to have like different terms for things that just. True. You gotta be special.
You're right.
You gotta be.
Because I could have just said dash.
You could have just said dash.
Could have just said.
It's like when guys are talking about like tools or whatever, and everything's got like bizarre names, and you're like, you mean the thing?
Hand me the 18 caliper wrench.
And you're like the thing that does the thing.
Yeah. Like, give me that red and black thing over there.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, the Office of State Representative Barbara Hernandez is hiring for a communications and outreach coordinator. This is an important position. You serve as a liaison between constituents and state agencies as well as other stakeholders. This position is also responsible for making the general public aware of Representative Hernandez's projects and programs. The position requires excellence in constituent relations and service delivery, community engagement, and program/event implementation. It's a part-time position at 15 hours a week, and you report to the Chief of Staff. For more information, you can email your resume and cover letter. That's not information. You're actually jumping in the pool then to haley.repbhernandez@gmail.com.
We had a clarification come in from a listener to North Island Center is what we were.
North Island Center. Thank you.
So it's on Stolp Island, of course, but it's like at the north end of the island, so North Island Center.
Good looking out. North Island Center.
Thank you, listener.
Yeah, for real.
Anonymous listener. Will not be named. Thank you.
Anonymous listener.
Because they're also.
Is that Marissa Amoni?
It is not. I can't reveal the identity of our secret anonymous.
They put it in the chat too. So see, transparency.
I think there's a couple of people maybe.
Yeah,
who
are
like, no, you got it wrong.
Yeah,
we must fix things.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, for real. Thank you very much, listeners. So the link to the USA Today article detailing the history of Yom Kippur is in the chat for you guys to read
expand your horizons.
Read at your leisure.
I just really appreciate a religious tradition that's just like, let's just sit and think about what we did a little while.
Think about
just things like, right? Like that's the whole point of Yom Kippur is like atonement. Like you sit there and you're like, you sit with like, how did I do last year? How will I be this year? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
All right. Coming up October 2nd, the Aurora Regional Fire Museum's Community Hero Day.
Ooh, hey. All right.
There's going to be fire trucks, police vehicles, Kane County Sheriff's vehicles, Illinois Army National Guard vehicles, and so much more. Yeah, we said, oh my God, that was couldn't get away from that, right? Vehicles. We from Memphis. Okay. Stolp Island's website says that they're opening on November 2nd. Is that good look, Tracy. Thanks for putting that in there.
All right.
In there, yeah. And Emily says they had amazing fried chickpeas.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm down with some fried chickpeas.
Yeah.
I enjoy when my healthy food is transformed into something that is unhealthy but delicious. That's like my favorite.
Sally Bice with probably the best. Sally Bice writing it. You know what?
We got?
Sally Bice just dropped the mic. Kinky Boots is a great musical, and the bars aren't serving snacks. Because the social restaurant could be making money right now.
Need some snacks. Need some fried chickpeas, apparently.
Imagine leaving out of there from Kinky Boots and going to get a Manhattan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I think one of the big challenges, like, there are a lot of places that do the before, right? Like, the dinner rush before, but, like, afterwards, I just want to go get a fancy cocktail or something, right? Like,
McCarty Mills or Tavern on Broadway, folks.
You can do Tavern.
Yeah.
Gillerson's.
You can hit McCarty. Yeah, hit Gillerson's.
Gillerson's does have some good, like, martinis and stuff every now and then.
Yeah, because McCarty Mills doesn't have food. Yeah,
their rotating cocktail menu has some pretty good hits. The
time is 8:54 a.m.
What else we got?
All right, here's what else we got.
There's that open house on the Prairie Path next week. We should tell people about. It's Monday, so
on the Prairie Path.
On the Prairie Path.
Kick it off. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the city is hosting an open house Monday from 5 to 7 on the 5th floor of City Hall. For they're considering improvements on the Prairie Path, which is the one that goes kind of like from like branches off and heads east, and it's gravel. And so thank God they're finally doing something about it, hopefully, because people wipe out on that all the time. Like when I worked for the city of Aurora, people would be like, hey, who do I talk to about the prairie path? Because I just wiped out on that. And I'd be like, so now's your opportunity.
Talk to your uncle for not teaching you how to ride a bike properly.
Hey now.
Like, no, I'm not. you know what? Let me reverse that for myself. You know what? Yeah, y'all. But see, I mean, my bad.
You know,
my bad.
I wipe out all the time.
Yes.
I'm just kind of
all knees matter. I don't want nobody to scrape your knee and think we don't care about you. You right?
We do.
You are.
So 5 to 7,
all
5th
right.
floor of City Hall on Monday. So go complain about the prairie path and try to have them make it better.
No. But you know what? Because that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go to City Hall.
Uh-huh.
And let your voice be heard.
Well, because like the thing too about that is you can't plow anything that's gravel. Not that we plow the trails anyway around here. Fox Valley Park District calling you out. We've had this discussion.
Word.
We just plow the trails. We just need to plow the trails
up.
so Jenette can go running and people can cycle in the winter when it's cold and people still use it for transportation. So, but if paving is the first step,
right?
You see. So. All
right, 2 last things before we go here. As we know, this is Suicide Prevention Month. Mm-hmm. McCarty Mills has an awesome suicide prevention awareness event going on tomorrow evening. Mm-hmm. Check them out on their Facebook and Instagram page, and we'll share that post as well. I think they got one on the gram right now. Whatever they got, wherever it's at, we'll share it.
Or just show up at McCarty Mills.
Or just go to McCarty Mills.
Yeah, that's on River Street.
Also,
beer place.
Today is the American Legion Post 84's golf fundraiser. It's going to be at Bliss Creek Golf Club, which is in Sugar Grove. 18 holes of golf with a cart, a steak dinner, great raffle prizes. Norman Peterson, they're here after the show. Ring the bell. Boom, boom, boom. And yeah. And
what else we got? Pooch Parade registration is open. Registration is open for the Pooch Parade. If you have a particularly cute pooch, and who does not, because they're all really cute, right?
Well, they say that dogs look like they're people.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say who got a cute dog or not. I'm going to step away. Loaves and Fishes is hiring. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Well, and there's a twinning portion of right, because it's judged. It's a competition. The parade.
Okay.
Yeah, they have different categories, and twinning is one of them. So if you look particularly like your dog and want to dress like your dog, or vice versa, that you could win fabulous prizes. The Pooch Parade is October 3rd. Do you think I look like my dog? I don't think I look like my dog. My dog she's got some things going on. She's a little special.
Right.
She's a lot of anxiety in that dog. Yeah.
The time is 8:58 a.m. Newt
she's something.
But I don't know.
For our listeners who have not seen Newt, the hot mess of a dog, the hot mess of an animal that is technically a dog. She's cute. We'll post some pictures.
Do you look like Newt?
I don't look like Newt.
No, you don't. But dogs favor their owners. I think it's a better way to say it.
I feel like they have the same kind of magical chest bump thing. Like so apparently you can have a deformity in your chest, like an indent in your chest, like the way that your rib cage is built. Yeah. And they have the same one.
Really?
Which we discovered the last time I took her to the vet.
Yeah, I knew a guy who had an indent in his chest, and I remember people used to make fun of him so much, and it got to him real young. It was 4. I remember his name was
such a bummer.
His name was Justin Johnson.
No,
I remember that, man, and that was kind of bad, because what was sad about it was he, after gym class you hit the showers.
Yeah.
He was so self-conscious and wouldn't take a shower and all that.
Well, here, let me tell you, Justin, is that my dog, who's a bit of a hot mess but very sweet, shares. So I hope that you have found a similarly sweet dog who shares your Dust bump.
Right.
Yes.
So the time is 9 a.m. This was a good show.
That was the weirdest way to end it, though, I think.
Well, there's weirder ways.
I guess. But so Pooch, the point of that whole diatribe was the Pooch Parade is October 3rd. Registration is open now. There are many categories. It's very cute. There will be dogs.
Right. All right, you
We
guys.
love dogs.
So that's it. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. Subscribe to the show on Spotify. And subscribe to the show on Patreon. Now, I want to tell you this. Get ready.
Oh, no.
Next week, we will show you something brand new. And also, I want to say one more time before we get out of here, thank you, Grace Cornell, for sending us mail. Thank you, Tracy Duran. And thank you to everybody. And the Gellers, have a safe, awesome, positive trip. Take care of yourself and each other.
Adios, Aurora.